Hey y'all, welcome in or welcome back. Welcome to a new video. It's April, so we've officially finished the first quarter of the year, the first 3 months. And so today I'm bringing you an update in my 2025 clothing project. So in this video, we'll talk about how the challenge is going so far, if I've made any purchases, what's on my radar, if the challenge is going to change at all, if there are any challenges, those kinds of things. If you missed the intro video, I will link that in the description, but I'm going to give you a quick refresh on the goals before I talk about what or if I bought anything. This challenge has 3 interconnecting goals that are meant to address specific areas or habits that I would like to change. Goal number 1 was a good, better, best goal for the number of items I would like to bring in this year. The good is 30. The better is 22 and best is 15. And this is really meant to address quantity. Goal number 2 is meant to address where I buy my clothing from. So my goal is to have 80% of the purchases I make this year be from a secondhand or sustainable brand. And then goal number 3 was my budget goal of a maximum spend of $1,200. And I am doling out that budget $100 per month. So in January, I did not have access to that entire budget, but I've slowly gained access as the months have gone on. I mentioned in the intro video that this challenge is a living, breathing entity, and I want to remind you of that as we go through, that I expect change to happen, and I perceive change as a good thing because it meant that I've learned something and I'm acting accordingly. So the first question, did I buy anything? That's the biggest question. And the answer is no. I have not purchased anything yet. And that is a yet because things are on the horizon. And I'm honestly really proud of the fact that I have not purchased anything. I am the most tempted to buy things in spring and fall. This time last year, I had already purchased 12 things, or, around this time, because I get so influenced by all of the weather changing and getting to wear newer clothes, not newer, but, the lighter weight tops and sweaters. And I get influenced by my own romanticization of spring. I consider spring, April, and May. Really, it's not warm enough in March to really bring out the spring clothes. April and May, weather is so wild. Like, it could be 0 degrees, it could be 22 degrees. We are experiencing both of those temperatures this week. The spring window is truly so short. Buying new clothes that can be predominantly worn in spring does not make sense. Even if we think about it from a cost per use standpoint, if I were to buy a new top this spring and I wore it twice a week, that's 9 weeks, maybe 10 weeks. That's a maximum of 20 wears. It just doesn't make sense. So the fact that I'm at 0 items right now is a huge win and is a change in habit directly year over year. One of the things that has helped me with this habit is how I've staggered the budget. Previously, when I've had budgets for beauty and clothes, what I've done is I've said, I want to spend this much by the end of the year, or this is my budget. I give myself access in January, and then I spend majority of my money by the time May rolls around. And then it's like, oh, I have like a quarter of my budget left for the other 8 months. So because it's a slow release of money, it is forcing me to plan. And then, now we've passed the 3-month mark, and I feel like it's really gotten into my head that I need to plan for the next season. So if I hypothetically, because now we're in April and I've unlocked an additional $100, so now we're at $400. If I spend all $400 on spring stuff, that leaves $200 for summer stuff. So the incremental release has helped me with long-term thinking and planning. And I am good with that in certain respects. Or I can look at a top and I could long-term think like, do I want to own this 5 years from now? And my 100 uses question is helpful for me, but particularly, but I have not been great at thinking about planning my clothing purchase in specific, like thinking about the whole year and what I might want or need money for later. And if I want money available for the next season, I have to save up for it. I can't just be spending all of my money as it comes out. And it's kind of funny that this has happened in clothes because I have been so good about this in other categories of my life. I plan for things. I plan for medical expenses. I plan for emergencies. I plan for trips and etc. And I've been great at that, except really with clothes, because I think I personally can get so distracted by other things besides the clothes. So I am really, really pleased with how the budget is shaking out. I am going to have to be vigilant about my spending in April and May and as the weather gets even better. So I'm not saying that we're out of the woods yet in terms of the time of year in which I am most enticed to spend money. But so far, like, we're doing great. I'm proud of myself, and I'm like taking my own advice that I've given in the past of like, Shauna, think about how good it's going to feel when it gets to June or July or October or the end of the year, and you've spent your money in a way that makes you feel good. You saved money for each season. You didn't just blow it all in a few weeks. And so here is me waiting. And as I've waited, it has illuminated that certain things really are unimportant and are not how I want to spend my money. Okay, so what's on my radar? What am I thinking of buying? This has been crystallized by the waiting, which is great. And it also illuminated a bad habit that I've had previously. This was such a great learning moment for me. So the two most important things that I would like to buy are bras and t-shirts. The t-shirt situation is getting, it's just kind of funny. I do not at present have a gray t-shirt or a black t-shirt that I could wear. I have two white t-shirts. One of them is completely see-through, so I would not wear that in public. The other one is in such rough shape, also not presentable in public. These two t-shirts can be worn at home or under sweaters like I do in the wintertime. Oh yeah, another shirt has blood on it that I can't get out. So the t-shirts that I have that could be worn in a public manner, one is yellow, one is green, one is like beigey kind of, which is like the only neutral one. So of a yellow, a green, and like a tan, that's three. I wear t-shirts every day. They're like a uniform for me. I'm doing okay right now because I'm still largely in the under sweater mode. But come May, when you see t-shirts, like if they're under a cardigan or they're under a jean jacket or something like that, I'm going to have three options. So t-shirts are at the top of the list. Bras also at the top of the list. I knew I needed to replace some bras this year. I was wearing a bra the other day, like an underwire bra, and it like leaves a rash every time I wear it. And that was the last time. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I have one nude bra and one black bra left that we're out in the world. And then I have these soft bras. And this is also part of the problem, is that I've had like at home bras and out in the world bras because of coverage. I don't want to get demonetized and say nipple, so I'm going to whisper it. I don't want those showing out in the world. And it's not a big deal in the wintertime because I'm wearing sweatshirts and stuff on top of it, so you can't see if it's a lighter bra. But because I've had this stark distinction in my wardrobe, these two things don't double for each other. The soft bras don't work out in the world largely. And then the underwire bras, I don't generally want to wear at home for long periods of time. I took out one soft bra and one underwire bra from rotation because they are completely unwearable. But there are more that are going to be needing replaced. So my thought was, well, what if I got a bra that did both, that could bridge both worlds? I found some options, and we'll talk about those in just a second. And so what I'm thinking is if they work out over time, and by over time, I don't mean like in 2 months. I mean, if they work out, I can slowly replace some of each, like as they wear out or wherever. So I can own overall fewer bras and they do double duty. That's what I'm hoping. So in terms of t-shirts and bras, not everything has to be replaced today, but some of them do. So I want to talk about the brands that I'm considering and like the options I'm considering. And if you have experience with them, really want to hear from you, because I'll just talk about the first brand first, which is Organic Basics. They have some bras that I'm really interested in purchasing, and I've heard great things about them, and I've done some research, but I'm just a little bit nervous about buying from them. They are shipping from Europe, which is it's far, and I haven't heard anything specifically from Canadians. So if you are Canadian, I'd like to hear from you. I'm worried I'm going to get hit with duties, but I'm also like, they have been bought out and I'm not so sure what's happening there. I've heard some people say their quality has gone down, but I haven't heard that from everybody. I'm a little bit nervous about, like, I'm just worried that I missed something. So if you have experience with Organic Basics, you know more about them, love to hear from you. Finding bras in like the sustainable space is a bit of a challenge when you aren't looking for like the soft, no padded bras. I have used bras from Booty. Those are great for home, but they aren't great, in my opinion, for like tops like this. I'm going out to a nice event later. They don't have the bras for that, in my opinion, with the support and the coverage. Organic Basics is the only sustainable brand that I've been able to find that offers bras with support and coverage that ships to me. If you know of another brand, love to hear from you. I'm not claiming that I know every brand that exists, because I don't. I've looked through probably about like 15 to 20 brands. I'll let you know one more that is on my radar. They're not as sustainable. The other option is they're called Bravado Designs. Might just be Bravado. They're a Canadian brand, which is great. They do have they're doing some sustainability things, but not a lot. Like, they're doing some ethical things with production. They have some certifications, mostly a material certification. So that is good. And they also have some partnerships with the PWHL, which I kind of love. I like the Organic Basics designs more, and I like that they're more sustainable. So that's where I'm leaning bra-wise. If I bought what I wanted to buy from Organic Basics, it'd be $162 with taxes and shipping. And that's converted to Canadian dollars. And if I bought what I wanted to buy from Bravado Designs, they're really similar products across both. It'd be about $138. For the t-shirts, I am fairly certain I'm going to buy them from Cotton, Kotn. They're a Canadian brand. They're sustainable. I really like what they're doing. They have, I'm looking for 3 t-shirts. They have a 3 t-shirt bundle. I have experience with them. I've purchased from them in the past, and I've had good experience with their materials and their production and their shipping and all of that. I also am fairly certain I know my size, which is great. If I buy the 3 t-shirts, that's about $115 with taxes and shipping. I'm going to the thrift store later this week, so I'm going to keep my eyes peeled for any t-shirts, because occasionally you'll find them pop up. But because they are something that I use so regularly, if I don't find them at the thrift store, I will most likely buy them from Cotton. So as you can tell, the 2 things I want to buy are basically replacements to things I already have. And I learned something really valuable and interesting about myself that I hadn't fully realized until now. When I'm buying replacements of things I already own, I'm not creating anything new in my wardrobe, and it's not adding anything new really. Let's say you have a black skinny pair of jeans and you replace it with a black straight leg pair of jeans. That replacement can open up outfits because it's a different silhouette. This, I'm not really opening up anything, because what I'm doing is giving myself an equivalent of something that already exists, and they're not really adding any new kind of versatility to my wardrobe. My wardrobe is still going to function the exact same way, if that makes sense. replacements aren't the most fun thing to buy because of that. Like, your wardrobe isn't really changing. And so in the past is when I've bought replacements, they've made me want to shop and buy more things that add versatility, because I didn't get some of those same feeling and vibes as, let's say, buying a new shirt or a new dress. Because what I really want when I buy new clothes, as I realized, is wanting my wardrobe to feel new or different, and buying replacements don't do that. I caught myself this time where I wanted to now buy more things to get that feeling when they weren't really a need. I do have some things on my wardrobe or on my radar that are filling in gaps, but I'm only going to look to those once I've purchased these two things to see like how much budget I have left over and how important the other things are to me at this point, because things can shake down as exactly as I mentioned. Or maybe I go to the thrift store and I find two really great t-shirts. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to inherently go down as I've said it here. I'll share what I get in the next update if I do get it, but I don't want to start entertaining other things quite yet. Some things on my radar are like a skirt, a dress, a pair of pants, a jean jacket, and also a pair of flats and a pair of heels. The shoe situation is also kind of stupid. I've been giving myself problems for honestly years at this point, that like the next thing I prioritize should probably be shoes. That's like one thing at a time, to be honest. So I'm allowed to want things and get excited about them. That's totally fine. I just want to give myself some time and space between when I get excited and when I actually, let's say, go to the thrift store and go and look for those things. So if I one step at a time and I focus on the t-shirts and the bras, once I've done that and I'm like more thoroughly into spring and I've like assessed the situation better and I've stepped back and I'm like, no, this is actually what I'm just coveting something. I'm just itching to shop. What 2 weeks from now, I'm like the whole thing would have just passed. So I think it's important to wait. Like, I'm acknowledging I want stuff, but we're going to wait it out a little bit. And the next thing I want to talk about are some like sewing projects that I think might give me some of the hit that I'm looking for. I said sewing, but they're not all sewing. One of the things I want to do, because I've really noticed last year that the jean jacket that I have is too big for the purpose I needed to serve. I wear jean jackets in the spring and summer as my like outerwear, and I wear it over shirts like this, t-shirts, tank tops, really thin items and dresses as well. And it's too big for that purpose, but it's a comfortable fit when I wear sweaters and sweatshirts. I wore it in my previous video. I'll put the thumbnail on the screen or a screen grab. It doesn't really look good when I want to wear it with dresses and thin shirts, which is exactly what I bought it for. I bought that jacket as a replacement to another denim jacket that I kept because it's sentimental. I bought that jacket in high school, like grade 11, I think. It was too small to be worn over sweaters and things like that. I think it would still fit to be worn over dresses and thinner material tops. I still have to get it. It's in the under bed storage that like the entire bed needs to be moved in order to take it out. And this is not a 5-second thing or a 5-minute thing. This is like a 20-minute, half an hour thing to get like, it's a process. So when I have some time, I'm going to take it out. The condition is questionable. It has faded significantly and it's really dirty. I believe I dry cleaned it 3 years ago, was like one of the last times I wore it, and like it's still dirty. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to pull it out, and if it still fits and I like it, I'm going to dye it. Rit has a denim dye, and it's a really, really extremely light denim. It's not white. It's really light, like really light denim that has since been lightened with age and exposure to the sun and such. So I'm going to dye it. It's not going to need much to revive it a little bit. But like the powder dye is like $5 or $6. And I think it's worth a try. And it would be like, if it works, it's going to get it's going to be the exact thing that I'm looking for without having to buy anything new. And then I'll have extra, most likely, denim dye for the future, which is great. Depending on how that goes, I have other things I want to dye. Not denim, maybe like the black one. We're going to see. So I'm really excited about that. And it's going to like prevent me from shopping and buying things that I don't necessarily need. I also have some sewing projects because there's things that I would like to buy because the current version of that thing isn't really working. And I'm just going to show you a couple of examples. Okay, the thing that's on top is this skirt. This is, sorry if this section is not the best audio, but I need two hands to hold it up. It's this print maxi skirt. There is a slit. I think I would want the skirt shorter than this, but this gives me like a place to cut it off. I don't know that I have the skilling prowess. Oh my gosh. I don't know if I have the sewing prowess to sew this because of this material. I don't know. I'm going to talk to my partner's mom to see if like it's a reasonable thing for me to do. I think I could do it. Like I hem my fucking pants. Yeah. Maybe this is giving me false sense of confidence. Let me look at the fabric contents. What do we got here? Oh, this is 100% viscose. The material feeling is like kind of slippery. It's making me a little nervous that I can't do it. But if I can, I'm looking for a short summer skirt. I don't know how the fit of this is going to be because of the top portion, if it's going to look good short, just based on what I'm working with. Or maybe I can make a skirt out of the bottom portion. No, probably not. Yeah, if you have thoughts about that, I would love to hear them. So I said that I wanted a summer dress, and I've had this dress. It's inside out because I was just looking for the fabric tag. It's too long, and I haven't been wearing this. I didn't wear it last year because it was too long. I wore it the year before. If I hem the bottom of this dress, which should be the only thing that needs to be taken in, then it fits the dress criteria. I really like this color. That I know I can do, and I have enough time before the summer when I would want to wear that. So I think that one would be like an hour project for me, and I feel really excited about that. It might be the first thing on my list that I tackle because I think it's easy and I could do it. What might be harder than the skirt, because the biggest challenge of the skirt is the material. What I'm about to show you has good material to work with, like easy for me to sew material, but could be an absolute fucking nightmare. This sweater is too big for me in all the ways, and I have wanted a sweater like this, and I've been actively looking for a replacement for a sweater like this. It is so big, and it's the perfect sweater for spring, summer because it's thin. Listen, if this goes horribly wrong, I'm not mad about it because learning experiences, and I'm half expecting this project to not work out, but to learn something along the way, but like construction and stuff. I want to take this apart. I want to like move the arms up so the arm would come off and then move up the body. I also want to take in material from the body so it's shorter all the way around, like it's slimmer. I have no idea how to do that. I'm going to talk to my partner's mom to see if she knows how to do that. The other stuff she can for sure help me with. This, I don't know. So one thing that I've been toying with is, do I amend this project? And for right now, no. Or I should say, do I amend this project sewing wise? The only way that I would amend this project to compensate for sewing would be if I get to the point of creating garments and buying fabric to create garments. We are nowhere near that yet. And to me, transforming clothes I already have, even into other clothes, like if I happen to turn a dress into pants, I wouldn't count that as a new item in my wardrobe because I already have the item. It's still an equivalent of like one thing becoming another. So we're not at the place in which I have enough sewing skill to do the things that I think would impact the project. So no amendments, but I can foresee the possibility this year, next year, some other time. There are ways to transform my wardrobe without buying things, and I think that's one of the most exciting things about gaining sewing skills. So hopefully by the next time we meet, I can report back with like new and fun things. The other thing I want to talk about that is in the amendment question, like am I amending the project? question, I initially had period underwear in the project. And after some further thoughts, I still want to buy the period underwear, but I'm removing it from the clothing budget because I mentioned it in the previous video that it was going to be part of the project. And I get exactly where I'm coming from with like bras and underwear being part of the project because they are still covering your body. They're still being produced and you still have to manage them and care for them. And when they're at the end of their lives, you are still responsible for taking care of them in some capacity. I have, by the way, found some programs to not donate. I found a shoe program and I also found a undergarment program that you can bring your clothes or your items to, and they will make sure they're diverted from landfills and repurpose them in some way to be made into like another shoe or lining or padding or something. That's forthcoming. And I also am going to be talking about like B Corps and such in a different video. We just don't have time here. It's just going to be too lengthy. So just know that there's a video forthcoming kind of talking about some of the more sustainability elements, probably more of like a discussion of those things, because I talked about the Plastic Beauty Project, introduced that, and it's been kind of up and down. And it's not just plastic in beauty products, but also the things I'm learning in that have also impacted how I'm viewing clothing, as an example. So, video forthcoming. Anyway, to the underwear. What I realized is that period underwear is not the same as regular underwear in terms of how I'm conceptualizing it and how I'm going to use it. Period underwear is going to be a direct replacement for a different period product. So I would be using period underwear instead of a pad, as an example. So it's going to be used exclusively in a period manner. Still clothing items, still something I'm going to have to manage and dispose of eventually, but they are serving me in the exact same capacity as my period products currently serve me, if that makes sense. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be removing these items from this project in terms of like money and counting them in, and they are going to be moved into another budget. I still haven't purchased them yet, because the ones I want are still out of stock. I almost bought some from another company, but really what I realized was I would have purchased the ones from the company I want if they were to come in stock tomorrow. So I'm just going to wait it out. The last thing I want to talk about very briefly, because we will talk about it in other respects in another video, is a bit of the challenges. I really feel the weight of this challenge in a way that I hadn't anticipated, because it is really overlapping with the Plastic Beauty Challenge. And I feel a lot of pressure about it to do it right, to do it justice. And I take what I do here really seriously, and I take the influence I have really seriously. And so part of why I haven't purchased anything either is because I'm like kind of scared of fucking up. And then coming on here and talking about like a brand I bought from, I feel somewhat caught in this trap. There are pros and cons to all the brands. Okay, I think Johnny here. In this specific category, the bra category, both of the options feel imperfect. I feel like the Cotton is a brand for the t-shirts. I feel pretty good about that. When you have two imperfect choices, like neither of them feel great, especially when whatever I buy, I'm going to be sharing here, and that can act like an endorsement for these brands. And I don't want to come on here and be like, oh, I purchased this thing that acts like a recommendation for a brand that isn't the best, or I don't feel as confident about. I've also learned about the certification schemes, specifically B Corp and carbon offsetting, as I mentioned, video forthcoming, and I am leaning far less on certifications than I was previously, and looking at companies more robustly. I think I was over relying on certifications to tell me what I needed to know about a brand, and the problem of that has been really illuminated to me. So I've been relying more on Good On You as the jumping off point. I don't agree with all of their ratings of brands. Like, they rated cotton a 3 out of 5 for the planet section. They said that they showed no efforts in reducing their textile waste, which in my opinion is not true. They did their last rating in 2022. Maybe it was true of the time. I don't know. But like, they are actively choosing to not use synthetic fibers or reduce them as much as possible. And they are also, in some of their cotton products, are using basically like textile scraps in order to produce their cotton, or like trimmings, which were stuff that would have otherwise gone to waste. So they have a mind for materials as well as like reusing products. Like, they did mention they use natural materials, but their specific gripe was the not reducing textile waste. But it's like, dude, they're actively choosing not to use plastic materials and to reduce them as much as possible. You still need some kind of synthetics in many cases for like stretch on shirts, but like 2 to 5% synthetics as compared to, I was looking at some t-shirts from like, I just went to like Dynamite and Simon's and wherever, 100% polyester. Like, that is a big deal planet-wise, in my opinion, reducing plastics in our clothes. They've also, like, throughout the life cycle of their clothes, like from production to getting to the store or you at home, they say that they have 15 packaging components. 14 of them are plastic free. This is a company that is actively reducing their plastic and thinking about the materials and sustainability. They're doing other great things besides that, which they are acknowledging, but I'm just saying that, like, I feel more educated as a consumer now that I've stopped relying on certifications. I'm not saying I know everything either. I just feel like I'm becoming a more diligent shopper throughout this process. And also, the last thing about maybe diligence is that I know that what I'm talking about so far is stuff that would be new from a sustainable brand. I do want to buy things secondhand and still prioritize that. But I think that having this goal of sustainability and 80% of my items coming from a sustainable source, whether it's secondhand or new, has also gotten me to vet my brands more closely and also consider where I'm buying from more, opposed to just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go to wherever and buy it, like go to the mall and go buy this thing. Whereas now it's like, okay, is there a reasonable level of assumption that I could buy this thing secondhand? T-shirts is a maybe. Bras, probably not. So I feel like I'm thinking about it more, and I feel more confident when choosing to buy new than I was before, because before it was quite often a gut reaction. So I'm going to leave it there. I've probably talked your head off. This is like a complicated project that is more complicated than I anticipated. It's springing up all these cans of worms that I did not expect. And I think that's a good thing to be learning, but to be positive as well. I'm so excited about the sewing project, and that is adding life to this project that is so wonderful. I think this project is ultimately leading to good things, even if there are some momentary frustrations. So that's everything for me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the update on the project. I would love to hear how your 2025 challenges are going, whether that's a no buy challenge, low buy challenge, a budget, or if you're doing like a specific clothing challenge like me. I can never say thank you for watching too many times. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking the time out of your day today to click on this video and watch it. I appreciate the heck out of you and the heck out of you doing that. So thank you. And I hope to see you again around here soon. Bye.